What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop and welcome to another Odd Facts video. While we wait these last couple of days for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee to be released, I thought it would be fun to talk about the Pokemon anime because, as you all know, there are some very weird, funny, and strange things that have happened in the Pokemon anime over the years. The Pokemon anime has been running almost just as long as the games themselves, over 20 years, spanning over 1,000 episodes, over 20 movies, and it's literally one of the longest running TV shows and animated series of all time. It's ridiculous. So, as I'm sure you can imagine, within that huge amount of time, there's bound to be some weird, funny, or odd things that have happened to Pokemon and in the Pokemon series, and that is exactly what we're going to be covering today. I've got a bunch of really odd and funny facts here today that I cannot wait to share with you guys, so with all of the introductions out of the way, why don't we go ahead and just take a look. Okay, so starting things off here, in the earlier episodes of the Pokemon anime during the original series, Japanese text was often seen on different things such as different objects, different signs, and even buildings. And because of this, the English dubs as well as other localized dubs had to paint out this text because obviously it wouldn't make sense for different languages. However, as the anime went along, the animators began to recognize that the local dubs were having to white out this Japanese text, and so they began to use made-up symbols instead that over time developed, and as of the Best Wishes series, developed into its own complete writing system where it's essentially its own language, and this system has 26 total characters that correlate with each individual letter of the Latin alphabet and can be translated into our own language perfectly. The X and Y arc of the anime is almost universally known as one of, if not the best arc of the Pokemon anime ever. And as a matter of fact, the X and Y arc actually did some interesting things that have never been done in any other season of Pokemon. For example, the X and Y series is the only season of the Pokemon anime so far in which Ash has not cross-dressed, the characters are consistently drawn with fingernails oddly enough, and the starter Pokemon that Ash and his friends get actually come from the professor as opposed to some other random location. And to add on to that, the X and Y series is actually the first series since the original Kanto arc where Ash actually released one of his Pokemon, which is pretty surprising considering how people constantly bag on Ash for always releasing his Pokemon when in reality he's only done it in 2 separate seasons. It is a well-known fact that the original plan for the Pokemon anime was for it to end after the Kanto arc, because Pokemon as a whole was never supposed to go beyond Generation 2. With that said, there is a very interesting Japanese trailer for Pokemon the first movie that seems to show glimpses of what the original finale for the anime was going to be like. In the trailer, we see a very ethereal sort of sequence with Misty, who looks to be older, along with another girl who looks to be Misty's sister, who also appears to be older, both of them accompanying a very young girl. We also see Ash's Pikachu in this sequence as well, but we don't see Ash, and given this whole sequence of events, given the fact that this was going to be the finale for the anime, and given Ash and Misty's romance throughout the series prior to this, it is speculated by fans that this was originally going to be the finale for the series where Ash actually ended up with Misty, they ended up getting married, and this young girl in the trailer is actually Ash and Misty's daughter. I've already covered this next fact in a couple different videos on my channel, which are pretty old by the way, so if you decide to check them out, you've been warned, but this is simply too odd of a fact not to include in a video like this. There were actually 2 different novelizations of the Pokemon anime that were written by the original head writer for the anime, Takeshi Shudo, which means for all intents and purposes, these novelizations are absolutely canon, and not only can they be considered canon, they provide some of the weirdest details that we have ever seen in any form of Pokemon media ever. Now, I'm not going to go over these novelizations super in-depth here because we don't have the time for that, so if you want to know more, I do recommend going to check out my previous videos specifically on those topics. But just to give you an idea, some of the details that have been mentioned in these novelizations is that number 1, Pokemon literally poofed into existence, yes, poofed, out of thin air. Number 2, 11-year-olds are able to marry each other freely in the Pokemon world without parental consent, and gym leaders are instantly fired fired if they lose 3 times in a row, which leads to a lot of bribes and corruption in the Pokemon League Challenge in order for gym leaders to keep their jobs. And honestly, that is just the tip of the iceberg, so if you are at all interested in this subject, I definitely recommend you go checking out my previous 2 videos on the subject. Granted, like I said, the videos are older, so the quality isn't quite as good, but I'm sure you'll still enjoy them nonetheless. The second season of the Pokemon anime was of course the Orange Islands arc, and while this is one of the most enjoyable seasons in all of Pokemon, it is also the season that probably saw the most hiccups out of any season ever. First off, in Finland, the Orange Islands arc of the anime was completely and entirely skipped altogether. However, despite this, Pokemon the Movie 2000, which takes place literally right in the middle of this season, was still dubbed and premiered in Finland anyway. On top of that, the episode Snow Way Out also debuted during this season, and this episode is notable for a couple different reasons. Number one, it's got a lot of feels, and personally it makes me cry every time I watch it, but also it caused a lot of confusion amongst fans when it first premiered. The reason for this confusion is that when this episode premiered, we saw the appearance of Ash's Charmander amongst the rest of his Pokemon as well. However, several episodes earlier, Ash's Charmander had already evolved into a Charmeleon and a Charizard, which really naturally made people scratch their heads and made them wonder what exactly was going on with the plotline of Pokemon. The reason for this inconsistency is that originally, this episode was going to be just another regular episode of the Pokemon anime, but due to the Electric Soldier Porygon incident that caused a hiatus of the Pokemon anime altogether, it forced this episode to be debuted out of order, which forced 4Kids, who was dubbing the Pokemon anime in English at the time, to rebrand this episode as sort of a Christmas special since it already had a snow theme, which is why we saw this episode debut in December of 1999, after we had already seen Charmander evolve into Charizard. The Black and White arc of the anime is often seen by a majority of the fanbase as the worst series of the Pokemon anime to date. However, this might partially be due to the fact that there were 2 story-heavy episodes of the Black and White anime that were cut altogether and were never actually aired. Episodes 23 and 24 were originally scheduled to air on March 17th of 2011, starting with episode 23. However, both of these episodes were postponed and ultimately cancelled altogether due to the Tohoku earthquake and the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster that happened less than a week earlier on March 11th. So the fact that Japan was dealing with an earthquake and a nuclear disaster at the time that these episodes were originally going to air is a completely acceptable reason for them being postponed. Another reason why they were postponed and eventually cancelled is because of the content that was in the episodes themselves. Like I said, these were 2 story-heavy episodes, and they saw the formal introduction of Team Plasma, and Team Plasma in these episodes were more or less carrying out some terrorist attacks, which is obviously a sensitive enough subject if you're not already dealing with an earthquake and a nuclear disaster, which caused the Pokemon Company to make the decision to postpone these episodes, which, while they did say they would be aired at a later date, never have been aired since, and as of later episodes of the Pokemon anime, their continuity and their events were ultimately rewritten and removed from the anime altogether. In the anime, one of the few Japanese voices that is kept for the English dub as well as most of the other dubs is the voice of Pikachu. Pikachu is famously voiced by Japanese voice actor Akue Otani. However, in a few very early episodes of the English dub of the anime, including the very first episode, Akue Otani was actually not the voice of Pikachu, believe it or not. Rachel Lillis, who also provides the voice for Misty and Jessie in the English dub as well, actually provided the voice for Pikachu in the very first episode of the anime, as well as a couple others, because in the original Japanese dub of these episodes, Akue Otani's voice was actually spoken over by another Japanese voice actor, therefore these voice clips were unable to be used for the English version. Pokémon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, actually saw a sequel in the form of the TV special movie Mewtwo Returns. If you happen to buy the DVD of this movie in English, you would have also got a special feature that was added onto the DVD as well that is known as the uncut story of Mewtwo's origin. This little 10-minute short actually explains how Mewtwo was developed and cloned, and basically is a precursor or a prequel to Pokémon the first movie that is actually very, very good and very emotional. I highly recommend you watch it if you haven't already. However, this special prequel to Pokémon the first movie actually got started as a radio drama in Japan known as The Birth of Mewtwo. The Birth of Mewtwo, which eventually became the uncut story of Mewtwo's origin, was a radio drama originally that was written by Takeshi Shudo, who was the original head writer of the Pokemon anime. This story was actually broadcast on the radio in Japan during the 5 Sundays leading up to the premiere of Pokemon the first movie in Japan over the course of June and July of 1998. Man, wouldn't you just love to live in Japan where Pokemon is so mainstream that you can literally just turn on the radio and hear a Pokemon drama being played over the air? Like, that honestly sounds like actual heaven. Speaking of Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back along with the third Pokemon movie, Entei Spell of the Unknown, actually have some extreme similarities with one another. First off, the plot of both movies is actually set into motion by Pokemon researchers whose daughters play a central role in each of their lives. In one movie, the daughter is taken away from the father, while in the other movie, the father is taken away from the daughter. And the titular Pokemon of each of these movies, Mewtwo and Entei, are more or less clones of the real thing, because Mewtwo is obviously a clone of Mew, and Entei is an illusion and not the real Entei that was created by the Unknown for Molly Hale specifically. And finally, Dr. Fuji's daughter Amber, who can be seen in the uncut story of Mewtwo's origin, was actually originally known as Mii in Japanese during the pre-production of the aforementioned radio drama. And believe it or not, the name Mii was actually given to and used as the Japanese name for the girl in the third Pokemon movie, Molly Hale. And last but not least, we have a fact that I'm sure you wouldn't have expected to see coming from the Pokemon franchise. Since we were talking about the Pokemon movies earlier, I'm sure you're all aware of the adorable little Pikachu shorts that usually appear at the beginning of each of the Pokemon movies. Well, since we were talking about Entei Spell of the Unknown, the Pikachu short that premieres before that movie is known as Pikachu and Pichu. Well, believe it or not, the Japanese narrator of this short, Sakai Noriko, was actually arrested in 2009 and later convicted on possession and abuse of drugs, which caused this short to be banned in Japan entirely, and since then has not seen a rerun on TV or a re-release on home video in any way, shape, or form. And there we have it, everybody. Now, just like the manga that we covered last week, the anime is of course one of the oddest parts of the Pokemon franchise, so I was so excited and happy to be able to cover some of the highlights in this video, and I really hope you enjoyed this video as well. If you did, be sure to give it a like and let me know down in the comments below which one of these facts you found the most interesting, if you have another fact I didn't mention that you would like to share, or if you have a suggestion on another thing you would like to see covered in a future Odd Facts video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and stay tuned later this week for the premiere of my very first Let's Play ever, because we are going to be Let's Playing Let's Go Pikachu on the channel, and I am so stinking excited. The Let's Play is going to premiere this Friday the 16th when the games come out, and we're actually going to kick things off with a couple of episodes right off the bat, so you'll actually have 2 or 3 episodes to watch as soon as the Let's Play comes out. From there, you'll have new episodes to look forward to every Friday and Monday, and this will be in addition to our regular uploads every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so basically we'll have 5 uploads a week as we go through this Let's Play, which is gonna be crazy, but it's going to be fun as well, and I am so excited excited for it. So I really hope you guys come out and show up for that, because I am really excited to be able to share my experience of this game with you guys, and I really would just love to see as many of you there as humanly possible. Also, as one final reminder, I do recommend checking out my Spotify as always for Pokemon remixes, because I just dropped one of the best Pokemon remixes I've ever made, Zinnia's Sorrow, the other week, and I am just so excited to continue to build that, and I would really appreciate the support there as well. With all that being said, I will be back with another video on Thursday. It will be a special Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee themed video, so I hope you look forward to that. Hit the notification bell so you can know as soon as it goes live, and until then, as always, I love you guys, and I will smell you guys later.